Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to crush cars, we are going to crush minivans, we are going to crush trucks, and we're even going to crush a tractor. And who knows what else we're going to get into, so let's go ahead and fire the crusher up and get started. All this rain has made the weeds go absolutely ballistic. I mean, some of these weeds are 4 feet tall. Unreal. I need to bring my big weed eater out here. Oh no, where'd I put the key? Oh, I don't have it. Well, that's nice. I have our car key. Uh-oh, I hope my wife doesn't have to go anywhere. Found it. I cannot believe I put the car key in my pocket though. That was an accident. Had to fold that trailer axle in half. Well, not in half, but I had to fold it to where it would crush in there because it was way too wide. I didn't realize it was that wide. Wasn't a big deal though. This cab here came from an auction out in western Kansas. This is a pretty rust-free cab, but I just didn't have time to haul it back. So I told the guy that bought it, he was just going to crush it. So I told him if he'd cut it in half, I'd buy the front half. And Skylar had to go out there anyway, so I told him I'd just pay him to haul it back for me. I'll have to take it out to my place again later, but not a big deal. I've got my trailer here. I'll just go set it on my trailer, or buy my trailer now. I bet this was a pretty nice car back in the day. All gold Cadillac. I bet it was a sharp car, and it was probably a high dollar for its day and age. But all roads lead to the junkyard. I scheduled trucks for Wednesday, probably load 2 or 3 trucks, depending on how many they can get me. I didn't really want to sell the cars. I wanted to sit on them and wait till later in the year. Towards the end of the year, I figured prices would go up, but man, we're getting a mountain of cars here now, and with everything happening over in the Middle East, I don't know if prices are going to go up now or not. Everybody always likes to say, well, war makes prices go up, and sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I know in 01, when we invaded Afghanistan, I know prices dropped through the floor, and they stayed down for a long time, some of the lowest prices we ever saw. It got down to where our price was like $25, $30 a ton that we were getting paid. And so we were charging to pick cars up off the street, and it was some pretty wild times in those days. So long story short, we're just gonna go ahead and start shipping some stuff in. We'll probably keep about 30 loads on the ground. That way if prices do take off, then we'll have a bunch of excess inventory we can get rid of real quick to make some extra money. But other than that, you know, we bought these cars when prices were low, so prices really aren't that bad right now, all things considered. So might as well go ahead and make some room so I don't have to drive around everything. I mean, I can only keep so many loads on the ground before it gets to the point to where they couldn't haul them all anyway. So you get about 30 loads is about the most they could haul in a month for us. So if we saved up 100 loads and then prices took off, I mean, what do? You can't get them shipped anyway. Hello everybody, I just want to remind you that if you enjoy this type of content, to please like and subscribe. Alright, I got quite a bit more going on in this video, so this is definitely not the end of the video, but this is probably going to be the thumbnail. I know usually whatever is in the thumbnail is usually towards the end of the video, but I'll just go ahead and give it to you guys a little bit earlier. We're going to stick this tractor in there, and let's see what we think this tractor is going to turn into. I think this tractor, you're barely going to be able to see part of the rear end and maybe like the fenders and some stuff sticking up above the top of that van when it's said and done. This tractor actually runs. Everything worked on this thing except for that right there was the issue. The starter was busted out, and a while back, I don't know if you remember or not, but I got that Ferguson tractor in, and it ran, and it didn't have that issue, but it needed a tune-up basically. So he said, forget this, it's easier to do a tune-up than it is to fix that. So he traded us this tractor and some cash for it. I pulled the radiator out of this already, but other than that, he kept his tires off of this because they were brand new. But anyway, I pulled the radiator out of this. Other than that, I haven't touched anything on here, so I thought about saving the seat and the fenders and some other parts, but you know, parts on these things just ain't worth much because you can buy them brand new for so cheap. So we're gonna go ahead, stick it in the machine and make a pancake. Let's see how flat or lack thereof it does. There we go, looking pretty flat, just like I thought it would do. About the top half of the rear end sticking up still, and a little bit of the sheet metal. Other than that, it pretty well disappeared. Those Ford tractors, they just don't have much to them. But I'm going to put a Cadillac on top of this, and we'll see if it completely disappears. Skylar actually just brought this car in. We just got done processing it. And what's crazy is this came just a few houses from my house. People had it, but they didn't know who to call on it, and he advertises on Facebook, so they called him. It's crazy to me that people can live right next door to a guy that hauls junk cars home all the time and still not have a clue who buys junk cars. We had a guy right next to our yard one time sold 3 cars to somebody from out of town because he didn't know we bought cars. Wow, look at that. That tractor has completely disappeared between this minivan and this Cadillac. Unreal. I always like the paint on those Cadillacs too, that pearl white paint. It's kind of dated now, but when it was new, it was nice. Everybody kept saying that I could get rich selling parts off of these cars instead of crushing them. Stuff like these old Camrys, parts are worth a fortune. So I looked it up on eBay and see what stuff's worth. And yeah, there's lots of $20 and $30 parts, but the time it takes to pull them, to inventory them, to list them for sale, to get them packaged, to get them shipped, you start doing that for a $20 part and you start losing money pretty quickly. So we're not going to mess with that anymore. If it's not worth at least $50, I just don't have time for it, because by the time you pay fees and everything else on top of that $50, it drops down pretty fast. And then you got your time invested, if your time's worth anything at all. And you see, that's the thing, is a lot of people that drop comments like that saying, oh, you need to part them cars out. But to them, I mean, they have nothing else to do. And so if they can park a car in their driveway and make an extra $20 here, $30 there, that's all extra money and for no sweat off their back pretty much. Whereas me, I'm so busy that for me to make that $20, there has to be something else that I don't do instead. It's not like I have any free time at all. I have 0 free time. And so I have to pick and choose what I do. And so part of me understands why people say that, but at the same time, people need to understand where I'm coming from too. I'm not operating on, 1 or 2 cars a month. I've bought, I think, 9 cars so far today alone. Plus, I don't think people understand, these cars have been sitting out in the sun and in the rain and in the everything else for nearly a decade with broken windows and everything else. And so parts on these cars are not in very good condition. A lot of the plastic is sun rotted. Most of the interiors are rotted from having broken windows and getting rained in. And the metal parts are all banged up and smashed up from being stacked in a pile. So there's really not that many good parts on these vehicles to start with. They look good from a distance and when I fly the drone over them, but in reality, they're pretty well ready for the crusher. But that is 2 loads on the ground and I am out of cars that are processed and ready to go. So I guess we're going to shut the crusher back off for a little bit, start processing some more cars and see what else we can get done. Well, I've got a partial battery left because I left all my batteries at home today. I charged them all over the weekend, so I'm not going to pull any aluminum wheels. All these vehicles over here are ready to go except for the wheels. I have to have all of those gone before the trucks get here because that's where I load the trucks, is about where that Monte Carlo is sitting at. And then over here, I got to move this truck bed. I won't be able to park there, but I kind of need to get this van moved at least. And really, I need to probably move at least this Toyota pickup and the Oldsmobile there. These 2 here have a handful of parts I'm going to pull. What I think I want to do for now is this one here also has some parts and see if it smells as bad as it did. Oh no, it's aired out a ton. I'm going to pull all the lights off the ceiling and the switches and the instrument cluster out of this one. Thought about saving the steering column, but you know what? I don't feel like messing with it. I don't know. I might still save it. We will see. I will think about it. They put some long-winded screws on this thing. And I know you're thinking, Silas, you were just talking about how you don't save parts because it's not worth your time. I said, I don't save some parts because it's not worth my time. This has got a $100 instrument cluster in it, and those lights on the ceiling and switches and whatnot are probably going to be worth close to that once again. So, I mean, I'm going to have a whopping, probably counting pulling, listing, shipping, and everything, probably about 30 minutes invested in all this stuff. And I'm looking at getting somewhere around, $200, $150 at the very least. And so that's worth my time. Whereas a $25 part that takes 30 minutes just to pull it, obviously those aren't going to be worth my time. And so for those that say, oh, you don't save anything, I really do save quite a bit. I just don't save as much as people on the internet want me to. It's interesting that this still has all the factory bezels and everything underneath that wood. It's some sort of custom van. I saved the emblem here. What does it say? Companion Vans. So probably some sort of custom van company. This thing reeks though. I don't know what it, I mean, it kind of smells like they kept their dogs in here or something like that as like a kennel. That's what it smells like to me. It does not smell pleasant. It smelled way worse, but the doors have been open now for 3 or 4 days, so it's aired out enough to where it's tolerable at least. I got a lot of flack when I made a reel here this past winter about how to pull these instrument clusters a little bit easier. I just cut the cable under the hood, but look at that. There is no room to get your hand in this direction. Underneath here, there is no room to get your hand up in there. I mean, I guess you could probably squeeze your hand, the whole arm up into there, but it's so much easier if you just come around here and you just cut the cable and then it just pulls through. Super, super easy. And everybody's like, oh, what if somebody wants that cable now? Well, nobody's gonna want the cable because tomorrow this van's gonna be in the machine getting pancaked. So it's really not that big of a deal. You cut the cable and now look at that. You can get your hand in there super easy. It's just super loose. So it's much easier that way. And there we go. I got everything pulled off this van. There's actually quite a bit more than I expected there to be. Of course, we got the instrument cluster. I got 3 of the double lights and I got 1 single light. And I got this set of switches and fuses here. Here's a set of switches here for all the rear AC and heat. Got a bunch of emblems here, there's one more of these somewhere. I have a set of 4 of these. But Daggert, I don't know how you say that. Companion Vans, Cooper, Yukon, El Grande. And then of course I've got a set of taillights. I didn't plan on saving those, but then I looked them up and they're actually worth pretty good money. This one here has a crack in the lens, but other than that, they're both pretty nice. And I got an old Panasonic cassette player. A lot of vintage stereo guys are into the higher end old cassette players, so that'll probably sell for a little bit of money. And then this was on the door. I think they use this to control the wheelchair lift, but this is a electric seat switch here. A lot of these conversion vans just reused other parts to make them work. But altogether, there is roughly $400 worth of stuff laying right here, so not bad at all. Because I saved more than I planned on, I actually have about 30 minutes invested in pulling all of this. Probably take me another 30 minutes to get it listed, and probably looking at roughly another 30 minutes or so to package it all. You could say 2 hours absolutely tops, and that's if stuff doesn't cooperate. But I've got to head out, so I'm gonna get all that stuff loaded up and I am gonna hit the road. As you may know if you watch the second channel, I was rear-ended in a hit and run in our car here. I don't know, it's been a few weeks now as of recording this. And so I have to go drop our car off at the body shop this afternoon and pick up our rental car. So I'm gonna gather this stuff up. I pulled a few catalytic converters off, get those picked up, and then I guess I'll see you guys back out here in the morning. I'm gonna get this out there. Oh, good old rain. Got my boots on, we'll see if we make it. Woo! Getting deep. Just got back from dropping off our car at the body shop, and look at that rainbow. The rain just stopped like 30 seconds ago as we were pulling in the driveway. That's a nice rainbow. There's a little bit of a double rainbow. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but there's a little bit of a secondary rainbow up there. It's kind of cool. You can even see the rainbow. Well, you can't from here, but earlier you could see the rainbow reflection in the water out here where it's flooded in the street. I am sure the yard is underwater, so I'm not in a hurry to get out there. I'm sure it's a mud pit deluxe, but oh well, such is life. It's going to be a hot, humid day today. But there ain't nothing we can do about it, so let's get out there and get busy. I don't know if I caught them in time or not. There's a couple coyote pups right here. They just went under the fence. Oh, nope, he's still on the road. He's going the other direction now. I'll zoom in the best I can when I edit this, but there's 2 of them. One came down off the hill, one was standing in the road when I drove in here. He's over here hiding in the grass, trying to find a way to get away from me. He's hiding over in the bushes, doesn't think I can see him. Hey buddy, what you doing? What you doing? There's a penny. All this ground washed out from all the water running down the hill. You can see here where all the dirt washed out of around all these bricks, and it's all right here now. It's actually not as muddy as I expected it to be out here. I think because we got so much rain that it washed the mud and the dirt away from the rocks. And so all the rocks stayed, and then now all the mud is down here in the hole. I am going to absolutely obliterate this area when I start driving the loader on it, but I don't have a choice because all these vehicles here and a bunch of these have to be gone by tomorrow. So I've got to get her done. I have not heard from my help today again, so looks like it's gonna be just me. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop all the aluminum wheels off now on these that are over here. And then worst case scenario, if I run out of time today, I'll just take all these over here and I'll go put them back inside the fence just to get them out of the way, get something done. That way I have room to get the semis in here. Well, the loader's completely out of fuel, so until I get that filled, I'm gonna go help my dad haul a few cars real quick. I'll come back and worry about that later this afternoon. We picked up a Chevy truck, and I picked up this Ford Taurus. Chevy truck has a set of cool wide rallies on it. The Taurus, it's just scrap. I can't believe the catalytic converters are still on this car. There we go, got everything opened up. Now there's plenty of room for the truck to pull in right here. And then circle around up here by the dumpster, circle on around, pull up by the crusher, back the trailer back up right about there. And then I'll kind of drive the loader right through here. I won't be able to park here tomorrow. I'll have to park somewhere else, but I've got 3 loads set out over there. Crushed 2 loads yesterday and 1 load today, so I won't have to touch the pile because they can only haul 3 loads in a day anyway. That ought to work out good. Got a hold of my help finally, and I guess his car broke down and he hasn't been able to get it going, but he has another car that he got going, so he will be here tomorrow. I'm gonna have him pull some parts off a few of these. I got that Miata down there, has got some good parts, and just a handful of these vehicles out here have a few pieces, and I will go ahead and save that steering column. I almost crushed it in that van over there, but when I got a hold of him and he said he'd be here, I said, well, I'll save it. But you see that wall right there? You can kind of see the clouds up here and then all that light gray right there. That's rain, and it's headed right this way, and that's a lot of rain. So I'm gonna get in the truck and get the gate locked and get out of here before that hits. I tell you what, I'm glad I put my new wipers on this morning. I ordered new wipers. They got here a couple days ago, and I keep neglecting to put them on, and I put them on this morning early, and definitely glad I did. It is pouring down rain. I guess it was really storming here. As you can see, the water is rushing, the river's starting to rise. I call it the river, it's not actually a river, it's just a drainage canal. My wife sent me a video and it was just like flat, blowing wind, everything, all the trash cans are over. I can see that it was definitely storming here pretty good, so evidently I barely dodged that one. And good humid morning, I am back out here. Oh, there he is. I was just seeing where the truck was at. I know he was out front. He's been out there since before I got here, so I didn't know where he was at. I was making sure he knew where to pull in. We've only loaded trucks out of here one time before. I guess I better go make sure he knows what to do. I don't remember if this is the same driver as last time or not. The last time I loaded trucks out here, it was pretty much just an empty field still. There was hardly anything here. So it's quite a bit different. This isn't exactly where I'd like for him to be, but I mean, this is gonna work plenty good. And rather than have to have him move around 15 times, I'll just make do with this. Truck drivers have to deal with enough stuff already without somebody telling them to move over 2 feet. If I can make do with where they park, I just live with it. If it was a real issue, I would have it moved, but it's not a real issue, so let's get it loaded. There we go. First bundle in. It's crazy to think that it's been like, man, 2 months. Let's see here. No, almost 3 months since I've loaded a truck. It's been a long time. I've shipped out a load of batteries. I've shipped out a bunch of loads of aluminum. Shipped in some other stuff just to keep some money flowing into the bank account, but I haven't shipped any crushed cars. But as you can see, I'm kind of running out of room. I mean, I could stack more bundles all the way up against the hill, but like I was mentioning, I think yesterday or the day before, I don't have, even if I did have, 50 or 60 loads on the ground, there's no way they could haul them all at once anyway, even if prices did go up. So I might as well go ahead and start shipping them. I probably want to go ahead and get rid of that outside row of cars as well, so I'll probably ship some more loads next week, but I got a lot going on next week, so I got to try to figure it all out. I know Monday I'll be around, so maybe I could load trucks Monday. If you're wondering why I kind of pulled it against the trailer like that, that's just to straighten the bundle out. That way it sits on top of the other one a little bit better. Whew. I just hit the mirror on that door sticking out. I forgot that was there. Good thing I wasn't going fast. Then you just shove it in just like this. This is slid super, super easy. Like that. I'll have to fix that door. There we go. And then you just find some place that you can poke with the forks that's solid, like that right there. And you just shove the whole thing in as far as you can get it. And there we go. Now I put the second stack in, do the same thing again. And, well, I thought we were almost done. There it goes. Kind of stuck for a second. Sometimes they do. Ball joints or whatnot stick on the trailer floor, but first load of the day is done. Headed out. He said he's going to try to get 4 loads today if everything goes good. He said it wasn't that busy at the yard. It's middle of the week, so he's hoping he can get in and out of there pretty quick. But I said if we can, we can. We've done it before, but if we can't, no hard feelings. But for sure, I'd like to get 3 out of here today. That's what I usually plan on. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and start processing some cars and maybe do a little bit more crushing. Load number 2, headed out. That only took him about 2 hours from the time he left here to the time he was back. So that's counting unloading and everything. So that was pretty good, I thought. And there goes the last load for the day, load number 3. Took him a little bit longer to get that last load undone, so he's not going to make it back for a 4th one. First load was 17 tons, second load was 19 tons. I'm not sure what this one weighs, probably somewhere around 18 or 19 again. Okay, now I have to go look at some old cars. And so I'm not sure what I'm getting into here. Might be a pretty interesting deal. If I do buy these, I'll probably make a separate video. So I guess I'll see you guys back here at the yard. All right, I am done there. I'm telling you, I'm gonna make a separate video for that. You guys, there's some crazy stuff there. I'll just put it that way. I bought almost everything there, and there's a lot of really neat stuff there. I overpaid on a few of them, but that's okay. I got some better deals on some of them as well, so it'll all average out in the long run. He was in the mood to sell them all, and I was in the mood to buy them all, and so other than a few select vehicles that he had more money in than I could afford to pay him his money back out of, I bought pretty much everything there. kind of a bad deal. The city's on him. He has to move them. He has a place he can move them, but he's already moved them around several times. So rather than move them again, he just said he'd rather just sell most of them and keep his favorites and go from there. Like I say, that will be a separate video. Definitely gonna want to stay tuned for that. And then that last load of cars went in, 21 tons. I mean, that was a serious load there. That was a little bit too much. Like 17 to 18 tons is perfect, which is what the first load was. The second load was a little bit over, and then the last load was really too much. I kind of wondered if it was going to be heavy because that one car that was in that load was clear full of brake drums. But I'm not going to be shipping any more crushed cars this week. I've got too much other stuff going on. But probably at least 1, maybe 2 days next week, we'll ship out another 3 or 6 loads. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm probably going to close it out here. This feels like a good stopping spot. I'll probably go out there and crush a few cars in the morning. But then I have to go back out and we're going to mark all the cars that I bought today. That way we don't get confused and accidentally take the wrong one. I'll probably drive a loader down there. I don't know if I'll get that done tomorrow or not, but sometime I'll drive one of the loaders down there so I can just load the cars on the trailer and haul them out to my place. It's right down the street, so I mean, it'll be super easy to get them all moved. So I hope you guys enjoyed this crushing video, making tractor pancakes and truck pancakes and car and minivan pancakes and you name it pancakes. This was just a fun junkyard video. But I am headed home now, so I will see you guys all on the next adventure. As always, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Remember to get out there and find yourself an adventure. We'll see you on the next one.